So a few years ago, I did a video called The Downside of Negging to Attract Women. For those of you that are not familiar with the term, negging refers to when a guy goes to a woman and takes like a light jab at her in an attempt to lessen her self-esteem a bit, so that way she feels like she now has to prove herself to the guy, thus putting you in the position of like seeming like the more confident person of the two of you. Now, this is a thing that I will say does work and has worked. But I find more often than not that women actually don't really like that. Like, they might not say anything to you directly about how they feel about it, but most women are usually typically like, I don't like being insulted, even in a joking way. I know me as a guy, I don't like being, insulted in a joking way, and I call people out on it when they do it. But I find the people around me don't typically do that. But I bring this up because there's a woman that left a comment, and based on when she left the comment, the answer I gave made me realize something that I don't think guys are even aware of as it pertains to the whole negging aspect of things. So I'll read her comment. It basically said, in reference to that video, it said, it seems like most men that I've dated who at first seemed great will start negging, making me end things. Negative put down jokes at my expense and or negative comments. So this is referring to, she's had the experience of, after dating for a little bit, a guy will start throwing out these negative things here and there. And for you as a guy, you may see it as no big deal. But I thought about that. I was like, why is it that guys would not see that as such a big deal when women at large do? And so this is where we get into the dynamics of genders as it pertains to when they are socializing with their own. So typically, guys amongst other guys, there is a lot of ribbing that goes on, a lot of teasing, a lot of playfulness, like you ain't crap, dude, or, shut the F up and blah, blah, blah. And it's like all this behavior that is inherently to at least the women looking at how men are interacting, it seems like guys are being very mean to each other. But we know that, we're not, more often than not, especially the younger you are as a guy, you're not typically trying to show guys that you care about them by saying, you're so great, you're so wonderful, let me give you a hug. So we do it with ribbing, because we know inherently if a guy's saying, whatever, you're so dumb, that guy doesn't actually mean that, and that he probably means the opposite of that. But as guys, we're typically not coming out of our mouths with all this flowery language to tell another guy, hey guy, you're just so great, touch on the shoulder, and you're just the best guy I've ever known, and I really love you. Like, that's not language amongst guys. In fact, me even just saying that now, like, it felt kind of weird. So suffice to say, guys amongst themselves in their socialization of each other, they're playing, they're ribbing on each other, and that's how they interact. And for guys, as long as we're, hanging out with another guy, that guy should know unequivocally that we care for them, because we wouldn't hang around them otherwise. Guys aren't typically trying to hang around guys that they don't really like mess with like that. Now, women are completely different. Women will hang out with women that they don't give two craps about, because they want to save face if this woman is a part of the group, or that woman that she doesn't want to be friends with is friends with 3 or 4 of her other friends. She now has to socialize with her. But anyway, in terms of women's socialization with each other, they, on average, aren't really like throwing insults at each other. There might be the occasional, oh, shut up, B, or whatever, this and that. But for the most part, women understand amongst themselves that they're trying to make sure that everybody on the team feels good about everybody else, so that way nobody's mad at anybody else. And so women are very much of the understanding that they could, if they were doing the whole negging thing, they could say something to a woman in the group and mean it as a joke and unintentionally hurt that woman's feelings. Because I've seen that happen where I'll be with women and I'll hear a woman say something and I'll know from the way she said it that it's a joke. And the woman that she said it to is like going into the bathroom, crying, saying things to me like, how could she say that thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying to be like, I think she was just joking. I know, but she knows how I feel about this because of this, blah, blah, blah. And so amongst women, just as a general note, they're not in the habit of trying to be insulting towards each other, even in a joking manner, because they're aware that they don't know for sure how this other girl is actually going to be reacting. They don't know what she's possibly going through. They don't know the things that are going to trigger her off, and that they don't want to say the wrong thing that could unintentionally cause a trigger to happen. And so you have one side of the coin, the guy's side, where ribbing, insulting, saying things that are jokingly mean are a way to bond with each other. And then you have the other side, women, where they're trying to say niceties. They're saying things to uplift the woman. They know that women walk through this world and are already getting judged. So the last thing they want to do is say something that's going to add more stress and tension to how she thinks and feels about herself by saying certain things, right? And so this is just a matter of these two sides are socializing differently, which also means that they're learning on their side of things what is and is not acceptable as it pertains to dealing with people, But the problem arises when you have men that are going and trying to date women, and they're coming from two different spaces. So you have the woman over here that's trying to use passive language, for example, which men don't really do well with because we want more direct language. We want to know exactly what a woman is saying so we can better help them, so we can know what they actually want versus having to guess at it. And then you have men that are coming where they're like, okay, one of the ways that I can communicate with her is to be playful and to be jokey. And sometimes that means for men that jokiness includes saying something that is a neg hit. Now, again, it does make for a great strategy in terms of if you're trying to come into this purposely neg hitting a woman, which I don't believe you should do. But I find that most men in general also just come from scenarios where they just group around other dudes. That's how they learn how to joke and bond with other people. And so they get around women thinking that version of bonding is going to work the same way. Now me, I'm an anomaly because my dad died when I was young, but even when he was alive, he never really said anything that was insultingly jokey to us. And funny enough, on my mom's side of the family, they're more the ones that are more sarcastic leaning and jokey, but I grew up around a lot of women. And then also when I was in sixth grade, I got bullied a lot to where I grew up to understand that people will say things to you, or you might say something to a person rather, and you might thinking you're just saying it joking, and you have no idea that it's actually hurting their feelings. Because I got my feelings hurt a lot in sixth grade by people that were saying stuff that in hindsight, aside from we're all teenagers and we're just, annoying as heck, that I was a new person to the school. They had no idea what things were going to make me feel bad about myself or whatever, And it wasn't until seventh grade the next year where I was like, okay, I got a better handle on things. People kind of knew who I was, so that wasn't happening so much. But it was a good lesson for me because at home, I was one that was saying mean stuff to my brother at times, and it just wasn't cool. And so I learned after that year, oh, great, I'm not going to go into any relationship, friendship relationship, family relationships, or romantic relationships where I'm going to be insulting or attacking this person on a mean level. I still know how to be sarcastic and jokey and use puns and use turns of phrase on things that aren't directed to that person specifically. So I can still be funny and still be sarcastic without having to be mean or naked. But for a lot of guys, they don't understand that. Because again, we're coming from our own circles where we're learning these things that I'm doing to socialize are okay. And so men are coming from a pure place of I'm joking on the woman in part because that's how I'm just used to joking, and guys rib on me all the time, and it seems like no big deal. Why is she taking it like a big deal when I'm ribbing on her? Understand. And there are some women out there that'll be total jokesters, and you can neg hit them all the time, and they're not going to be mad about it. But you don't lose points for not being that way. You're going to be able to keep more women not trying to be the guy that is neg hitting more so than the ones that are out there that are willing to take it. Even the ones that are willing to take it, they have a limit, and you're probably not going to know what that limit is until you test it and she gets really mad at you and you're like, I didn't know that this was the level, So all this to say, guys, that based on this woman's comment, like I said time and time again, neg hitting is not in your best interest. I know back in the day, pickup artists used to preach that till the cows come home, and it's not to say that it can't work. It's just that the women that works on, typically their self-esteem is not the best, and trust me, they're going to bring it up later. Well, when we first met, you said this thing or whatever, this and that. But also, most women that have a good head on their shoulders, they're fine with you being jokey and funny, but not at their expense. And I don't think that that's fair to women that you do that. So that's why I'm giving you the lesson here, guys. This is another woman that is saying, I don't like when guys are trying to negatively put me down or do jokes at my expense. You should be uplifting your partner. You should not be embarrassing your partner, especially in public places. I don't know why I see couples go out in public and say mean things to their spouse and be like, or their significant other and be like, oh, I was just joking, whatever. But at that point, you've now made them the butt of a joke. Why would you do that? Again, you should be uplifting your partner in public. You should not be putting them down to make you look bigger. So just wanted to make a short video about that and give some understanding to you guys. Some of you guys are not purposely or intentionally trying to hurt women's feelings when you're neg hitting them or doing put down jokes towards them. This is why I say, just as a guaranteed way to not hurt any feelings, take those kind of jokes out of your routine as it pertains to the women that you're dating and the women you're in relationships with. And that'll help you immensely as you go forth in terms of building better feelings for your romantic partners. So that's all I got to say. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions you want me to answer, you can leave questions down in the comments. You can also write to me at harrywilmington@gmail.com. If you want more in-depth answers, or if you want to me to answer these faster than what I can do with videos, then sign up for my coaching course at introvertdatingsuccess.com and check out my ebooks while you're there as well. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I will catch you guys on the next video. I'm out. Peace.